respect intended to the people of Haiti and some of our lesser developed Caribbean islands, I think we could find ourselves in that position.
Now, Tony, I have to stop you there because we've just stepped in, and already I'm hearing things like Category 5. Let's understand what you mean here. You're not just saying this to be cute, to be alarmist, to make people think more about their economic situation. You, if I'm hearing you clearly, are talking about things getting so tough that it would be like experiencing a Category 5 hurricane. This is the toughest, the roughest kind of experience you can have. This is what you're saying to us.
Absolutely. Let me look.
If we don't change immediately.
Immediately. For instance, our tax system needs to be looked at. Yesterday. Right now, given what's going on in the U.S. Financial system, look at our tourist base. Most of the hotel occupancy today is probably under 30%. What it means is 1 day a week. We can't sustain that. Our tax structure, tax to poor, and with the greatest respect, the rich get a buy. The model for the future should ensure several things. One, that focuses on infrastructure development. One that focuses on human resource capital. Another that focuses on education. And then lastly, but most importantly, I believe social inclusion.
Okay. Phil, I want to come right to you again. I need to understand if you agree with the severity or urgency of this matter. Your views.
I don't think I'm going to disagree often with Tony because he's right on relative to that scenario. I think another scenario that I've mentioned before is that we can be likened to a frog in a boiling pot. Where
hold on, I can't let that one slip by like that. A frog in a boiling pot. See, only in the Bahamian round table can you hear that. But again, Phil, that's an incredible visual you've just given us there. Explain more.
Well, if you place the frog into a pot at room temperature, it jumps around, feels good, nothing happens, having a good time.
Yeah.
Turn the heat up. Slowly but surely, the temperature in that water changes, and the frog is not realizing it, and it becomes paralyzed in that water to the point where it can't jump anymore because its temperature continues to adjust to the surroundings around it. And by the time it realizes it's in trouble, it can't move, and it boils or burls. and that has been, I think, in my opinion, the Bahamian economy over the last maybe 20 years. We have just not adjusted to the temperature around us. And Tony put it perfectly, and as a result of that, we will be experiencing a Cat 5 type of economic catastrophe.
How soon?
Well, he said immediately. Well, you can see the tip of it today, even today. I mean, that's right. It's tough times even today. And it has to do a lot with this diversification thing. Even in the markets that we serve, he spoke to tourism, and we have leaned independent so heavily, and for good reasons in the past, on our neighbors to the north. But look what is happening now. They're feeling the pinch, and we're based on a tourism model, and the first thing that's going to go out of the window when you don't have the disposable income anymore are those wonderful vacations to the Bahamas.
Okay. Andrew, you comment a lot about what's happening in the society. These two gentlemen happen to be very involved with the whole financial world in the Bahamas, but you're out there working as a strong, young Bahamian. From where you sit, does this surprise you?
Not at all. I mean, like Tony and Phil said, the model is the same for the last 50, 60 years, and even if we as a country determine that, our vision is to continue that model, if it is, we haven't done anything to improve upon our product in terms of the tourism industry, our product in terms of financial services. I mean, the center of this whole tourism thing is supposed to be Bay Street. Look at Bay Street. Look at the state of Bay Street. Bahamians are embarrassed. I mean, and that is someone who comes off a cruise ship, that's their first impression of the Bahamas. Bay Street.
Okay.
My God.
Dr. Rollins, you have a hopefully thriving dental practice. Holding its own. Okay, but you've got to operate like many Bahamian professionals and non-professionals. You've got to operate in this financial situation. Again, does this surprise you? What are you feeling?
Well, I agree with all that has been said thus far, and I think the benefit that we have is that we have been exposed to other locales where a great deal of investment has been placed into the tourist economies of those places, and it allows us to come back with a very critical eye about what we see going on here. And, it's because we love our country so much that we're here this morning, and you know, again, I think it's a great thing that Mr. Rigby has started here, and this is the kind of dialogue that we need to engage in, because if we see these things happening, it does nothing to see it happen and not talk about an opportunity to correct it. And I think the danger that I see is that we're stifling ingenuity in this country. And by that I mean that a lot of Bahamians have great ideas about how to improve this country. But I believe that depending on who is delivering the message, it is looked at with a very jaundiced view because of what is perceived to be one's political persuasion. And I think, for example, I understand that there's someone who's interested in putting together a mariculture farm in Andros.
Yeah.
Well, we know Bahamians love their conch. I mean,
That's an understatement.
That's an understatement, right? But why is it that we can often talk about how the Turks and Caicos Islands have developed their own conch farm? We know that we eat conch far more, and our tourists appreciate it once coming here, and yet we've not done anything about trying to replenish the stocks that we hear are being depleted in our oceans. So if it's that we have Bahamians with great ideas, we need to put money behind these ideas because it's for the betterment of the country.
I'm glad you say that, and I'm going to come back to these two gentlemen to my left because I want to deal with the why. But before we do that, Anastasia, you're a truly young Bahamian, just stepping into it. Are you sensing that there's something wrong? Do you have a sense that you need to do something about what's happening to our community and in particular our economy?
Well, certainly, Mr. Wisdom, and I think, you know, all of my colleagues here this morning have made very great points about the need to act and to act now. And I think that we must begin to develop our young people especially to become entrepreneurs. Besides the Junior Achievement Program, and I know the Ministry of Youth just launched its Self-Starter Program, we have very few initiatives to encourage young people